Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the World Tactical Racing League Team Time Trial number 61. Wow, they've been doing this for quite a long time, Dave. Absolutely love this every single week. I'm Nathan Guerra. Dave Towle's next to me. We're here with Zwift Community Live, and we're going to be covering today the Espresso, the Vienna, and the Frappe, three of the Premier Leagues. The Premier League is the top 10 race teams in the WTRL that qualify each and every week with the best times that were out there for the top 10 amongst how many teams? I think they've been pushing 600, 500, 600 teams. It's a losing count. 4,000 riders across 9 zones. Pretty amazing. Dave, we're out on TikTok. The races have started, and I'm excited for some awesome time trialing.
Boy, there we go. TikTok.
There we go, Dave.
Yeah,
Good
I got
job.
it. TikTok, and you don't stop. It's going to be a great one, Nathan. I have so many things to talk about coming in hot today. So, this course, much more, I would say, the standard issue team time trial course. We saw things go ballistic out there last week. So, we'll get back to more pure team time trialing today. That was a battle to remember. Expect another insane. I mean, battle royale doesn't even, because it's a Chinese checkers battle royale. We've got so many strong teams. That's the Vienna category, the women that I'm talking about. Actually, Nathan, this has been in the Premier League. It has been incredibly exciting. Obviously, Socks for Watts is back, and I heard Lizzie Duncombe is back with the team. So they're reinforcing the squad as she was not racing last weekend. That's even more good news for them. But, they've got on 2020, they've got Jasmine During, the two-time Olympic bronze medalist. Nathan, I'll throw it back to you. I know we've got so many things to touch on here, but I do want to wish our friends, the Celtic Queens, good luck. They were 6th place last week, and now they're welcoming Sarah and Elizabeth onto the team. So Grace and we call them the Irish Monsters. Let's see how they do out there this week. We've got, looks like you're picking up the Ram Raiders, Nathan.
Yeah, Ram Raiders, it looks like over in the Espresso group. In the Espresso groups, we'll be following along with them to start here. We'll be picking up all of the splits as well as they do come on through. Our splits are going to be, let's go ahead and see where they're at here. And they are going to be, we'll bring them across the large screen here in just a second here, but they're going to be at the 10K, 16K, and 26K mark. So that's going to be the situation out on TikTok. You can see the start list here for the Viennas currently. Let's go ahead and bring up, though, since we are looking at the men out here. We'll see if we can swap on over and get their situation currently. The Espresso men, Ram Raiders, currently 34.4. Whenever you see the little green flag, that means that they have started their race already. Just so everybody knows, that's what the little green means next to the first kilometer, or the kilometers that have been covered, or the kilometers left to go, on the splits there. So that's the 10 that have made it into this race this week. Looks like we've, are we missing the Cockneys this week, perhaps? Oh, no, they're there. Plastic Cockneys, absolutely dominating last week. So we'll see how that goes for them. They were in a head-to-head battle with the Ireland Naga Bombs last week. We'll see if that works out. As well as we've got Volendam. I don't think Pio Auto are in this group out here today, though. Maybe skipping the day.
Interesting, because we watched one of their riders, Pedersen, with a brilliant win yesterday. It seems like a week ago with all the racing we've done. I have to congratulate my colleague. We had a blast last night, Nathan. We went 1 for 1, Nathan. I would say that was a sweet one for us last night as I directed Nathan racing in the USA Cycling Series. And Nathan leads that series and added another win, so he actually increased his lead heading into the final race. So props to you, buddy. Nice job. So we, as we pick up things, Nathan, 36 total kilometers of racing here. It's 2 laps out here on the infamous TikTok circuit. So we just picking things up out there. Again, we use the coffee categories. A lot of folks joining us. It's good to see our friend Rob Noble back. I missed him as people heading out on some vacations and stuff around the world. So this is the 61st consecutive week of racing out here for WTRL. So it's amazing how this has grown. Nathan, you were talking about that, standard week now. It's around 4,000 riders, over 600 teams. Martin and Steven are the people's heroes with the work that they've done here. It truly is amazing, Nathan. So, all right, we're going to be bouncing around here a little bit. As Nathan noted, you can see some really good data with these splits. We're still waiting for the first time check at 10K. See that 16 and 28Ks will also be noted before we've got our finishing times. So no PO auto when you talk about the men, but it looks like with the choppers here, 2020, Socks for Watts. Cryogen, Nathan, the Swans. That's a strong team we should be keeping an eye on.
Yeah, David, I've gotten some messages in the background a lot saying that this was a pretty hype situation for them. They were extremely excited the last couple of weeks to get involved in the Premier League. So I think they're going to be showing up looking to throw down a solid effort. We did see them challenging last week, but really it was all about Sisu, Choppers, 2020, and Socks for Watts last week, though, too. So we'll see if Cryogen can sneak up a couple of spots and challenge, though, those top four. I mean, those top four were all within, I think, 30 seconds to a minute of each other. Socks for Watts, obviously, last week came back in the last lap and took it down by quite a few seconds. So we'll have to see how 2020 shows up and if they've done their homework this week, because I know Nicola afterwards was like, how did this happen? Afterwards, she was like, I think they thought they had it in the bag, but Zwift Racing, you can't sleep on it. That's for sure.
Well, and it's funny. We've watched that Socks for Watch teams. Originally, we called them scrappy, but then they, it's been a month of them taking the gold medal week in, week out, and they became the dominant force. 2020 showed up, and I really did expect to see what we were treated to, which was one of the greatest esports team time trial races. Actually, I would just say esports races I've ever seen. We had 3-time Olympic gold medalist, and I don't know that Kristen Armstrong is back this week. I know she's a full-time business owner. She's opened up in Boise, Idaho, where she lives, some training centers that are really, really amazingly thorough in what they're doing there. So that being said, I don't know if she's racing again this week or Chloe Diger, but Chloe was part of that team as well. But we should talk quickly about format, Nathan, for people that are joining us. It's 8-rider teams typically. Not everyone starts with 8, but you do take the time off of the fourth rider finishing. So obviously that's the pinch point, or the crux is that fourth rider there, getting them across the line. You'll see the teams working hard. Some teams finish with 8, not many, to tell you the truth. Along the way, you're probably going to lose a rider or even sacrifice a rider taking big pulls late in the race. This is a classic course that we're racing on, Nathan. So really, this one is really straight ahead. The weather forecast out on Watopia today is 100% chance of pain.
Yeah, 100%. And I think Z-Sun here, as we're looking at them with a GOAT, we're seeing Carrie Merritt is in here, as well as Iris Han-Jostin. It's going to be Iva Gotts there from Z-Sun, as well as Jojo Zolberg. Kristen Dumoulin is out there. And then it's going to be Marissa van der Linde, and I believe Stuart Lalu, and then Wiet Lukezen. These names, man, are pretty...
Yeah.
These are some Fran, as well as Fran Brambers is out there as well for the Hypernova team, I believe. So they're out here killing it right now. It looks like they're going to be the first ones coming through on the splits at the 10K mark, 32.2 to complete as of yet for them. They're being chased by the Onyx ladies behind them. Onyx ladies here out on course 2.0. Onyx ladies also a very strong team. Big, a lot of riders here actually from Onyx. Charlie Matthews, Claire Todd, Ida Smith, Jessica Pryor, Kathleen Hughes is out here, as well as Sophie Curl, T. Corbett, as well as Veronica Roch. Mainly a UK team, it looks like, but it looks like jumping in there with Veronica Roch, though. With that flag is a difficult one for me, to be honest.
Well, let me take a look at it here. And it's funny, Nathan, the United Kingdom, particularly England, I guess you'd say. I don't know, when you talk about Scotland and Wales and Isle of Man, I really think it was England. But if someone could correct me,
Austria.
I'm certainly
this
open
one's
to
Austria. That's what it is.
Oh,
Austria.
there you go.
Veronica's coming out of Austria.
See, that I know that one from the Kirkmeyer dealio, that team Kirkmeyer, right? They're almost all Austrian on that team. But the home of time trialing, Nathan, I think it's fair to say, is the United Kingdom. It truly a lot of roots there, and they
Well,
still
where
take
it
a lot
started
of
and
pride.
why, right? I mean, that's the history. There is nobody wanted bike
Sneaking
racing
out,
going
kind of.
on. They had to sneak out on these routes.
Yeah, kind of like COVID. Well, like some of the racing that has happened that I haven't heard about around the world. People sneaking out, meeting at 11 o'clock at night. Around where I live, I see the roving gangs of cyclists. Although things have really obviously changed
Roving
now.
gangs of cyclists. I love it.
Yes, I'm like seriously, like they're sneaking around in all black, zipping around, doing But obviously, we've moved into a new phase. Thankfully, everybody look out for each other out there. But Nathan, of course, you know how much we love our Irish riders, right? They represent pound for pound, ounce for ounce. Ireland is the week in, week out, the nation that I think is the most fun to watch. It's certainly like not just our friends at the Celtic Queens. So, all right, Nathan, we don't have a chance to look at every team, obviously, with 600 teams out here. But help me remember that Naga Bombs, that's the team that Northern Irish rider Christopher McGlinchey, he rides with Venus, right? So I might have to search, peck around a little bit to find him. There he is, right? But he's a Naga Bomb, correct?
Oh yeah, Chris McGlinchey definitely Negabomb. Now he's going
He's
to
a
be.
he's
They're
a
just getting out on
big
course here.
engine.
We'll jump in with them in just a minute here.
Okay.
We're jumping in here quick with the Ram Riders. Wanted to see what their time was going to be the first across the 10-kilometer here as soon as they do. But we'll move back to Volendam. Volendam, interesting to see. The last
Oh,
couple
boy.
of
One of our
weeks though, they have not. I don't think they've podiumed necessarily. The level has gotten so high, and last week we saw that the percentage between the racers was so incredibly close. I mean, the top 5 I think were all within 30 seconds of each other, which just goes to show how high the level has gotten.
The village cow was sick, Nathan. So these guys all live within 3 kilometers of each other in Holland, and it was a tough week in the village. I'm just kidding, but most of these guys, it's one of the most in real life focused teams. These guys crush it out here. Is taking a look now, Nathan. I don't know if there's a better organized team. If you wanted to point to a how-to video, you could really. I mean, you can learn a lot on what not to do. These guys are not that video. This is how you do it. Absolutely, they put on a clinic out here, Nathan. If these guys fall outside of the top 3, I would be stunned. To tell you the truth, they're one of the most likely teams to win that we have out here. Always a team to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely a team to always be watching out for. We do have Ooms here on the front now. Do see some people coming on through with some chatter. Rest of team prepping for Joe Martin return here from Nicola, though. Just 4 riders for them this week. Obviously, Joe Martin all weekend, putting a team time trial at the front end of this of the Joe Martin would be. You got a 3-day stage race happening this weekend, so totally understandable. Good to hear from Nicola from 2020, though, from on the women's side of things. So maybe socks for Watts. Now, interesting to see, though. I'm not sure that Choppers might have a chance this week because I think some of the riders from Socks for Watts is all maybe looking to go maybe 4 races in a row because I have a feeling some of them are in there.
So, yeah, it's interesting because, that's one of the things about this format, Nathan, is it's not the same batch of riders that you have. It's sort of like with an 8-rider team. You have a 10-rider long team with the 8-rider selection each week, kind of. And so what you're going to be looking at is always a different mix. I mean, obviously last week, it's a different 2020 team. They had Armstrong and Dygert. This week, I do know that they have some super strong riders. Leah Davison, the mountain biker, the Olympian. Jasmine During is here. Shayna Paulus. And I'm going to scam.
Quick shout out here. Hollum
you
off
bet.
the
Go
back
ahead.
here. Ram riders have lost a rider already, but they were rewarded with this effort with a 12:54. So that's the first time through that we're going to have on the day between all of the categories, Frappe, Vienna, as well as the Espressos that we currently have. 12:40, though, Volendam coming on through. They started a minute back. Now we're starting to see what the competition is going to look like here as the times start to ramp up through the Espresso category. We should start getting some of the women's times as well, as I'm going to jump over to them. Then we'll head on over to Frappe.
Yeah, so you can only imagine, right? With this many teams, it's the Premier League is what we're covering, but next up, kind of as we're finishing, I think it's Zone 6 that fires up and the pens fill up again. So there's a lot of race management that goes on for the squad getting in, and that's a big part of WTRL is the responsibility that the athletes and the teams and the captains have of getting everything lined up and ready to go on time. It's really quite a drill. If you can pull this off, you could run a fast food restaurant. To tell you the truth, with all the
One of the
scheduling.
hardest things to do. I know.
Yeah,
From personal, but that's one of the hardest things to do. In another life, Nathan, in another life, was running fast food. So,
oh my gosh! I mean, you know how scheduling people is so hard, and you're like, you need to be in at 2, and they're like, 2, your time or my time? I was like, good grief! So, all right, here we go. Picking up
Frappe, first time through.
Good. All right. Let's see what we got. 1331 coming in for Essex. Okay. Let's watch this for a little bit here, Nathan. Frappe's a fun category. These guys race their brains out here.
Yeah, they definitely do. Looking through, it does look like in this team we've got Ross Courtnell, I believe. Yep, Ross Courtnell is going to be in there. He's up toward the front there, pushing 4.5 watts per kilogram, it looks like. Looking for a few of his other team members here in the team tags. A lot of times these teams maybe not register over on ZP. I really encourage teams, register on ZP
Please.
as a team as well. Not just as your own, but a lot of times that's the other thing is that they pick up riders to jump into the WTRL. They might have a primary team that they ride for, but then they do the team time trial as like a made-up team. Plastic Cockneys being a perfect example. Reese Howell obviously is going to be riding for Canyon ZCC most of the time, or at least be the team manager for that. But then in the team time trial, this is more of a, well, let's get together and see what we can do here, community race. And so I do understand that. It's kind of like
getting your boys
together.
The team time trial, unless you're right. Yeah, right. So just like Nathan, in real life, you went out with that group of guys a couple of days ago and just hammered around Wisconsin. Well, this is a great chance to get together with some friends. They got to be at your level, though. That's one of the things here is you hate to be the anchor in a group like this. You don't want to hold anyone back. So, we've talked so much over the last few weeks about just how the sweet science of the team time trial plays out. When you're strong, you try to hit the front longer. You don't necessarily go faster because then you start dropping riders on the team. It's just feathering that. And the teams are, Nathan, just in my time, I've watched these teams get better and better. We have, how it used to be, we would tune in and you jump from team to team and we would look at every third team would be all over the shop, right? With 2 riders dropped and 1 rider going back to get them. And, that whole kind of scenario, the kind of just not playing out anywhere near the way you'd want it to. Look at this. Every team that you've checked in with today, correct me if I'm wrong, outside of a dropout that probably was more an internet issue for 1 rider, that's a separate story. Every team we check in on looks like a coordinated, smooth effort.
You don't make the Premier League. I don't think you make a Premier League without making that happen. Being messed up. Yeah, I think this is reality that if you want to be in the Premier League, you're gonna have to really
good point.
really put things together here. Real quick, let's come on. Essex, these guys we're looking at here, best mates with Plastic Cockneys. Good to hear. So it looks like across categories here, some of these peeps know each other pretty well. Sounds good. We're also hearing some cheering from James Eastwood saying, "Go Sox for Watts." We'll be watching out for them, obviously. Yes. We will be checking out. Of course, we're going to check out 3R Fleetwood. This is Dave's favorite. This is Dave's favorite name across all of them.
This is the greatest community. I'm not kidding. We do a lot of fun races. Again, I don't know why you're being so quiet about your victory last night. That was a stunner. But either way,
this is the WTRL time trial.
We have so much fun with the racing every week, but this is my favorite hour that we get to do, Nathan. The Premier League. So Cryogen coming through checkpoints here. Ooh. I'm looking at the fastest time for Cryogen.
I'm going to move back here a little bit one by one just to name them out. So Race 3R here. They started second, right? But they have currently the second fastest time that Cryogen. 3R had the fastest time. Cryogen just came through a little bit faster. Essex that we were just looking at has the third fastest time. Team TFC is a little ways behind this as well.
Only 1 second. Only 1 second
It's
there
all
between second and
super
third.
close here. Evo Vortex a little ways down,
Yeah.
13:44. They got some time to make up here currently with the fifth fastest time past the 10K mark. As we continue to move backwards here, this is going to be Team TFC, the Friday Criterium, trying to chase them down, 120 back from them, but fourth place currently on the 10K mark. So that's the situation that we have out on course right now. Looking for Cryogen. We'll see if we can make our way back to them. If we do, 13-16, they're absolutely flying out there today.
All right. So we, again, staying with the Frappe category here, I have a lot of fun with the Fleetwood Mac team. That's just one of the 3R versions. Some of these teams have many additions now, and it speaks to the popularity of what's going on with the World Tactical Racing League. But it looks like we're jumping back in with the A's, and this is going to be the Cryogen Magpies you've got here, Nathan. A lot of Tron bikes.
Yeah, looking at the Cryogen days here real quick. We're just jumping around to a couple of the Cryogen teams, actually. I think we need to try and find another Cryogen.
Yeah, Cryogen also. Evo, Cryogen. They have a lot of
there's so
different
many
squads. These are the women.
There's too many Cryogens out on course.
No, there's a ton.
Okay, so here's what's going on in the background, everybody. I'm looking for Cryo, and I'm assuming I'm looking for Cryo and Frappe. I click on Cryo, and I end up between every other category. Cryogen has at least 3 teams represented out here
teams.
today
Yeah, right. I know,
in the Premier League. So we're just going to check out all the Cryogen. And these are the Swans out here now. Let's go ahead and jump on over to what's going on with the women since we did pick them up here.
Oh, good.
And it looks like the Swans currently in third place, actually. Solid result for them.
So
Team Sisu, then only 5 seconds between them. And then look at that, 14:07. It's a 6-second gap right now.
Well, in 13 seconds separating your top 4, but our top 3 teams are waiting to throw a time up on the board here at that 10K checkpoint. So, Nathan, I'm going to predict that we're going to see Sox for Watts putting something down into the low 1350s, to tell you the truth. That's how strong this squad is. So, okay, Celtic Queens, the Irish Monsters there, rolling through the 1454. So, okay, this is going to be really the race now. So the Choppers with the 14:03, the fastest time. So, all right, they do have Nikki Bartlett, Lucy Gossage, Laura Massey, Paris Edwards. Who am I missing there? Hazel McLeod as well. So this is the team. We had Lucy Charles Barkley out racing, doing a Zwift triathlon event yesterday. So it looks like this team, again, they traditionally have gone toe-to-toe with Sox for Watts over the last month and a half of racing. Still waiting for these times for 2020.
Here, Dave. Interesting decisions made here today. Look, Celtic Queens with a time trial bike. One of the riders here just being very confident, it looks like, to just press the pace in the Celtic Queens. But it looks like Cryo Swans have already chased them down and are right on their heels at this point, and have closed down that 1 minute that they were given. Look behind them. Celtic Queens are going to either have to give way or just hammer on and get away from this team. But they're coming on like a freight train, it looks like.
I don't know, Nathan, what the situation is with swans or geese in Wisconsin, but here in Colorado where I am, they are one of the most beautiful yet dangerous animals. Especially they just had their goslings, or I think that's what you call the baby geese. Man, they come at you. Geese and swans are really intense, and that's what we're seeing. The swans are going to have their best ride in a long time. They are flying out there tonight.
They showed us. They definitely got a couple of messages beforehand.
You ever get attacked by a goose?
They were really. Yes, I have been. I have been attacked.
It's crazy.
Yes, I've been attacked by them. They are not. They are scary animals to go toe to toe with.
They're
that's for
very
sure.
hard.
And the Celtic Queens are learning that right now. And here go the Swans right on by.
Well, and the Swans are on their A game, no doubt. Hey, so again, the Celtic Queens are this group of Irish women, for the most part, not entirely Irish, but they are fantastic spirits. What happened?
Sox for Watts, 13:32. I think.
I was saying 13:52. Look at that. So they're that good, Nathan. That's sick. That is sick. Take it easy on them, ladies.
Pretty amazing time
We're
out
still
there
waiting
today.
for 2020 in with the 14:08. So right there with Sisu, Very respectable, because you've got 4 teams within 5 seconds there. Choppers, Onyx, Sisu, and 2020 within 5 seconds. But it's Choppers, then Onyx, then Sisu, then 2020. Sucks for Watson, a league of their own out here.
Yeah, 100%. And this is going to be an interesting battle, though. The tie there for
That's
fourth
the
and
Dunkum
fifth,
effect.
and then third and second there. So there's definitely a serious battle here for the podium out there, though, with that third, fourth, fifth place right now. And then even with Cryogen, they're in the mix as well at that 14-13. They can make up some serious time. So we're looking at the Cryogen Swans right here. They can see the times that they're pulling in at this point. If they've been patient, they may be able to pull this back and get into a point. I mean, they're within striking distance for second place.
I mean, Z-Sun is only 17 seconds out of second place. So, this is as good as it gets when you look at the competitiveness in this group. This is our women that we're talking about right now. But Nathan, you see what I'm saying there? That's crazy. They have that many teams. But Sox for Watts, the outlier here, is they are a half minute better than everybody else out there. But let's go ahead and jump in.
World Rowing, checking out the men's espresso at this point. This is going to be the top category. Well, we're in. So I know it was a little bit confusing for a couple of people who were asking questions. How come you're in the C category? There's some people still, longtime community members that haven't really watched one of these WTRLs yet and are like, wait, what's going on? The C category is used for the espressos. The espressos are the elite men. The Viennas is the women's only category, and obviously has the elite women in it as well. The Viennas, they start in the E pens. So we need to ignore essentially all of the pens and those categories within Zwift. WTRL makes their own categories and starts them differently so that essentially everyone's kind of finishing around the same time, not running into each other necessarily. The whole idea is to make sure that everything runs really smoothly with the Team Time Trial, as there is no Team Time Trial mode in Zwift, so WTRL has made their own. So that's why the pens are used the way they are. Currently situation, though, a tie for first place. We have a serious, World Rowing, Team ODZ right now. I'm not sure they're going to be holding on to that, though, as we did see the faster times at the last check mark. Well, interesting to see. World Rowing are flying this week. Let's go ahead. I'm going to click the 10. I'm going to click the 10K.
They're getting better
World
and better.
Rowing, Plastic Cockneys 1230, ODZ. I think Plastic Cockneys might be the only ones.
Look at this. This is interesting. You've got two teams so you've got two ties going on. World Rowing sitting on, actually, I'm just going to let these settle a little bit here. It's easier to do it that way. So Nathan, I just want to go back to what you're saying while we let these results work their way through the filter. This is a bespoke event. When you talk about how, that's a pun intended, again, as you look at this whole, what you do to create a team time trial out here, Martin and Steven that's why we can do this. And it speaks to the coffee categories, going back to what you're saying about how there's a lot of unique things here. And that's because this event is managed at such a high level, right? Who else has two masterminds running a series out of the goodwill of their heart? So it is a tie right now on top of the leaderboard here at checkpoint 2. This is 16 kilometers in. So effectively our halfway point, more or less, 1949 for World Rowing and Team ODZ. As I said, Nathan, World Rowing's just getting better and better out here.
Yeah, it's really impressive, actually. The last couple of weeks, they've struggled to make it into the top 5, I believe, and or just holding on. And now they are leading things out. And Martin had told me, watch out for the World Rowing. They've got some serious engines on them. It might have just had to do with working out how to ride out on Zwift, how to get the draft correctly. They're used to rowing, obviously. They used to be on a rowing machine. And now jumping onto the bikes here and moving that fitness over. Maybe just a couple of weeks to work out the kinks now. And it looks like they are on a roll, that's for sure. Now, Plastic Cockneys, though, they were right there at the last checkpoint. Let's see how things come on through. And it's, oh my gosh, it's all within 1 second. This is a serious competition at this point as we're looking at the Plastic Cockneys just coming on through. D Hart is here. This is going to be quite the race here in this espresso group. They have just about 10, a little over, it's going to be 15K or so to finish up here. 2 laps of this. So one more lap here of this TikTok course. And, it's going to be a very tough lap here. Going to have to really ramp things up if they're looking to win this because it is neck and neck here on the time gaps.
When's the last time you saw a team go from winning one week to being 8th out of 9 the next? Nagabombs definitely not having their best week here.
Interesting to see, Dave. I wonder if there's
I'm
something going on there
surprised.
with.
Yeah,
Uh,
something's going on.
is there an
The
invite
time,
to this weekend? I mean, looking through here, we've
it's
got.
possible.
Let's see here. I'm
It's
going to see if I can
entirely
find
my
this.
guess, Nathan. To tell you the truth, I'm with you on that line of thought because, yeah, this is just not them. So it's not alarming. It just tells me that something's different here. Sometimes the chef forgets the salt or something.
I'm looking through and I'm seeing. I think we are
That
missing
sounds like a Belgian
McGlinchey.
saying. I just made that up, but it sounds like a Belgian, like the tall tree gets the wind and these kind of things. So,
Well, okay,
plastic
think about
cock.
it. Dan Fleeman, McGlinchey. I mean, I think Vitas might have been invited to the to the race this weekend as well. So I
Joe
think there's a
Martin.
lot. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot of riders who are saving their legs because WTRL. It's no joke. Full on at the front here, 6.2 watts per kilogram. You're absolutely wasting yourself for about 40 minutes. So.
Yeah, you go big or go home out here. There's no, half-hearted efforts. That's for sure. Don't even bother. Team time trialing is not for the weak of heart. You better be ready to go deep, deep into the pain cave, and you're going to be in there for a long time. It's going to get cold. You're not going to have a flashlight. It's going to be miserable, and that's what these athletes are looking for. It looks like, Nathan, are you digging up some course records for us here? Thanks, man. I was wondering. So it's the Luna chicks for the women that have that sub 50, 49, 51. There's no doubt in my mind Socks for Watts blows that out of the water today.
Yeah, and La Bamba there, as you can see with the 44.59, I think that's also going to be, well, I mean, it's close here. We're coming through the lap at
Less likely than,
22:40 or so. It's going to be like a 24-minute here in just a moment, but we'll have to see what kind of a time they can pull off. Because the reality is they have to do this whole section and then one more lap. I don't know. I can't do the math on it right this second here, but that's going to be a tougher one to beat. I think La Bamba is a very fast team. La Bamba I think they're a SZ team. So Vikings Fenrir,
Was
Eat
that
Dirt
today,
2.
I wonder?
I'm going to
Was
take a
that from
look
an
here.
so
That's a great question, actually, because
we have a bunch of records almost every week in the WTRL. You see a whole reset of the record board, and because we race in all these different time zones, it's 9 different zones. Am I right there? There's so many races going on that Martin will let me know. But so let's see here, Nathan.
Yeah, this is from this morning. So zone 1. Now, I'm going to give everybody an idea of what's going on here with these results. So as we look at the results that we're looking at right here, this is there's 9 zones all day long. We are currently in the Premier League zone, but there's other zones going on around this one as well. Zone 2, zone 3, zone all the way through the rest of the day. So Live by Cycling Free put down a 57.28 this morning. Our F ladies and then Evo Stars, AHDR Purple Armada then. That is what is currently standing. Zone 1 this morning, PTZ, Evil Warriors, Dirt Diggler. So that's the current situation for the standings right now that Zone 1 put down. And then it's going to be, this is Dirty Steamers, Dirty Steam Engines. It looks like we've been out on TikTok, though, recently enough that none of these were set this morning, I believe. These are all, none of these course records. It looks like most of these course records are fairly long-standing, and that's a little bit different for us. Usually, we're jumping in, and a lot of the course records are set the morning of. Eat Dirt 2 did set this morning. That is a course record, actually, from Latte, set this morning from Eat Dirt 2. That's the only one that I've seen so far, though. And then it's also going to be, Lost Ketchup is going to be holding this down, not Eat Dirt Trios. So Lost Ketchup had a 56.16, actually. Not sure the date on that, but these are the course records, as you can see here. 3R Lunatics. I think that is going to get broken, though, by the Vienna ladies, though.
Yeah, in this case, Socks for Watts they're just on an absolute roll right now. So Plastic Cockneys, another one of our favorite teams out here. It's a super well organized squad. These guys are well drilled out here. So watching in hope.
Yeah,
Another team that's really come on strong, Nathan, over the last couple of weeks.
Well, they're new. They were a totally new team that just jumped in and kind of out of nowhere started just dominating in some sense. I mean, obviously, Rital had his eyes set on all this and was like, "Look, I got to put something together here." And suddenly, we've got this team looking to take down a win here that was totally unexpected, actually. So, shout out to Reese for throwing things together and putting together a very, very strong team. Obviously, did his homework to make this happen.
So we do have another checkpoint coming up here at 28 kilometers in. It's 36 total K today for our teams. Again, this worldwide phenomenon rolls on through the day. Premier League. Now, I think it's zone 6 is the next one that fires up. As you see the plastic cockneys. I mean, one of the fun things that we've watched, Nathan made a really solid point earlier about how you don't make it to the Premier League without being good at team time trialing. And we're looking at these, small little gaps opening up out here right now. But this team doing, an outstanding job. This is near perfect, Nathan, right here. Poetry in motion.
Yeah, and
that's my new one, Fleetwood Mac.
We had the shout out earlier to grab the Fleetwood Mac boys, so here they are, and currently throwing down second place. They're only 6 seconds off, actually, but Innovation Alien Express, they have been battling week in and week out. Innovation Alien Express, though, it's good to see that we've got a pretty serious competition in this frappe as well. Now, also look at the IRL Jalapenos, Cryogen, Evo Vortex. This is all pretty close here, all within 27 seconds.
We love the jalapenos as well. That's another new squad. You were talking about the plastic cocktails. Same thing with the jalapenos. I think that squad just popped up only a couple of weeks ago. So this one's going to be fun. Good job out there. This is against Frappes. So a 21 flat at 16K for Alien Express. They have an awesome jersey too. So then our men at Fleetwood Mac, 6 seconds back. And then they're tied there with Evo Vortex. Cryogen sitting at 21:14. So that's only 14 seconds out of the lead here. And when you look at it with two teams at 06, they're only 8 seconds off of a podium step. So then you go down to top 5, the Jalapenos, they're sitting at 21:27. So still within half a minute. And there's plenty of racing ahead. That's really just the middle part of the race that you're talking about. They're not even quite to the halfway point when you look at checkpoint 2.
Yeah, and just jumping in real quickly here, I want to throw a comment coming across about the course records. And this is a great little bit of information coming from Stuart Featherstone, actually, over in chat. He's letting us know that March 26th was the last time on this course. And so Stuart Featherstone, unless Martin comes in and says, no, that was pretty recent here. And we have seen the times really ramp up in this last 6 months or so. Since we started covering this, we've seen course record after course record broken. Obviously, with the popularity and the growth of the event, you just kind of get that depth. It starts to increase. You start to pull in more athletes,
Absolutely.
And the depth of the field just continues to grow then.
Oh, I mean, it's one of those interesting, it's a snowball effect, right? So more athletes started doing it. The teams started getting better, and they started having more fun and practicing harder, and the motivation went up. So you look at all the different metrics that lead to success. All of them have been applying here to the WTRL. It really is. It's a lesson in a lot of things, but the positive force. I think we're taking a look here. Again, it's Fleetwood Mac, and they are really in a battle for a big win for this squad. So good luck out there, guys. It looks like, Nathan, we're getting our first checks coming in here now for Frappes. Essex there, 35.20 at 28K.
Yeah, 28K. They had a 21:42 the last time through, so I believe that was going to be a little bit lower down, just outside of the top 5 or so, but still solid efforts. They were the first ones to go out, I believe, so kind of the pace setters, but now you can see race 3R coming through only 2 seconds behind, so that's a little bit of a battle between those two riders. They're going to be trying to chase each other down for those spots within this top 11 in this Frappe category.
One of the great quotes from cycling legends is Greg LeMond early in his career saying, it never gets easier, you just go faster. right? So I have a lot of respect for the guys out here in these categories that just working hard at their craft. These are guys who know how to suffer. If you can row, you can team time trial. There's so many parallels there. There's no drafting in rowing, but working together as a unit, that's what rowing is all about. That's for sure. And it's a sport that really is. I mean, a huge element of this is just cardiovascular system and legs. Same thing for rowing.
And it looks like the rowing team here now, World Rowing, these are world class, world champions. I mean, amazing, amazing team out here that has shown up, multi-discipline, 32-19 currently. ODZ was right with them at the last checkpoint, but it lost, it looks like, 8 seconds.
8 seconds, right?
8 seconds to the last checkpoint.
It's not
it'll be
over.
interesting to see. Plastic Cockneys, they were 1 second off. Are they going to be actually ramping things up, or are they going to lose time again to this World Rowing?
Well, boy, no surprise as World Rowing starts to get these gaming aspect of Zwift and, the ebb and the flow of how you make this work. I mean, this is really a strong team. And obviously, these guys know how to go deep into the box of pain, Nathan. They are pulling out some megawatts right now. They're going to be dimming the power grid as they make their way into really what will be about their final 6K, less than that, 5.5K. This is going to be a tough team to beat for a long. They came out of the woodwork, didn't they? Another team, Nathan, like the Plastic Cockneys, that I don't even know that were they racing a month ago.
No, it was completely out of the woodwork. It was like all of a sudden there was this team here. Martin, I think it got on the radar somehow with WTRL and Martin over there with WTRL, and he mentioned, "Hey Nathan, World Rowing, these like world champion, world class rowers are really interested in doing this. You gave me a heads up on it, and boom! Next thing I know, they made the Premier League after one week. So it's pretty awesome to see. Let's go ahead real quickly. We can see what the current situation is here. We're waiting for a couple of times to come in from the Plastic Cockneys. They'll be coming through their 26 in just a second. But I definitely want to jump back in with the Viennas. We haven't seen what's going on with them in just a little while. And on the Vienna side of things, with the women, we're currently looking at the Choppers. Choppers, though, in 7th place today, missing a little. Well, excuse me, sorry. Let's see what their actual time is.
No, you're okay.
16.
I see what's happening.
On
there
the
you
16
go.
here,
Right.
but even on the 16K, 7th place. So interesting to see on today. Not the fastest time we've seen from this world-class triathletes. But we had that race yesterday.
Look at it,
there was the Z Pro yesterday, so that might have been something.
When if you look at it, so it's 22:19 for Sisku in second. This is actually, we're looking at new checkpoint times coming in from 28K, but going back to 16K. You can see Socks for Watts. They're just riding out of their skin out there. Those ladies are phenomenal. But then from Sisu at 22:19,
right? 10
yeah, it's not that bad. It's just that there's a bunch of teams stacked up like cordwood there in between them. But Nathan, yeah, exactly. I think we're identifying that's a surprising place for them to be in, but they're not that far off. And typically they're strong finishers. Nikki Bartlett takes some big pulls. She's one of the strongest ladies out here, Nathan, no doubt. So let's see what Nikki Bartlett can do. With the, this is not the A team from the Choppers either. I don't think anyone really quite has their A team out here today, except for Socks for Watts.
Yeah, and we can see
or maybe
the
Sisu.
coming on through here.
Sisu too.
Sisu might as well. Sisu, Cryogen as well. I think Cryogen Swans have shown up to try and take
they're having a ride
today. They're having a really good ride. I mean, they are still in contention for second place overall for sure. I mean, they could take down 2020 even if they can really ramp things up here. So again, the percentage here between these racers here coming through at that 16K mark is so minute. It's very, very minute. Let's go ahead and jump right on in to see how things are starting to play out here at this 26K. And it looks like at 26K, Cryogen tied with the Onyx ladies there, 36-38. So definitely a battle going on here continually. And wow, that is quite the comeback here from Onyx here. As they were at that 22-29. They were at the back end of that top 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see some of the teams have passed squads out there. It's interesting. So there you go. Now we're going to fill in a bunch more times here. This is our elite women, the Premier League for women, 35:50, the fastest time for Sisu. I think they're going to stay in second now, Nathan. And we're going to check. It could be Sox for Watts putting up the next time. They're that good today. We got 2020 and the Choppers here. Choppers should be coming in, I'm going to say, right around that 36, 38 time, a little bit beyond that. Let's see. So Choppers, yeah, I'm going to say 36-42 would be my guess for Choppers. It's going to be fun watching how this fills in, but no doubt Sox for Watts, they're the platinum standard out here. I hope they don't forget about the little folks, Nathan, when they're stars, because that's what they've done.
Looking through, it does look like a couple of comments coming in, and good to see everybody hanging out in the chat. We do see Kieran McKenna coming on through, says, come on, Evo, Vortex 1. Nothing to do with my boss racing in that team. Still hoping to beat his time in the later zone. Let's go, Kieran. And you definitely need to take down his time in the later zone.
Give Kieran a raise.
Let's go, Kieran.
Give Kieran a raise just for enthusiasm. So, okay, Choppers 36-16. Okay.
Oh, so are they actually bringing it back here? Choppers.
They had a
this
huge
is their ramping
run
thing.
there.
That is a big run coming on
big.
through. There's a little bit of climbing in that last little section that they came through as well. So maybe going to start bringing things back.
They're taking charge now.
Sisu, they're going to have to start watching up because this climb here, if the Choppers can really start to ramp things up, Edwards making her way to the front now, 5.4 watts per kilogram coming from her, coming out of South Africa, 164. I think they've got something left in the tank here. I really do.
I do too. The Choppers are, they're going to have that depth. Sox for watching it at 34.57. So they are now a minute and 3 seconds faster.
Absolutely flying out there. Now 2020 still to come through. I think 2020 might have been caught out there perhaps by Sox for Watts. So we're waiting for a time out there still from 2020.
So because of the seed, there it is. It just popped there. So they're 36-19 in at fourth there for 2020. Not very respectable. It's Jen Lubke is the other rider there out of Bend, Oregon. I'm a big fan. She just crushed Cascade Cycling Classic last year. So this is going to be the Choppers that we're watching right now. Nikki Bartlett, a captain on that squad.
And here we go. Now we're in with Sox for Watts.
Oh, good to see him. Look at this. What a squad.
Who else is on here? We're looking at
Vicky Nealon, Lizzie Duncombe. Yep. Astle. This is the squad. Oh, man, Nathan. Regulators mount up. You can just feel the momentum. They just do not lose out here. Over the last month, I mean, they have owned the summer of 2020. So the COVID crushers out here, Nathan. I love this team. They are so much fun. They do such a great job with the social media. Let's see if Charlotte Backus's name pops here. Charlotte has been such a tremendous force of goodwill in the Zwift community.
Well, actually, I also seeing Bexy Do here, which is interesting to see. Bexy Do, new, I think, addition to the Sox for Watts, coming from Army Cycling, actually. It's very interesting seeing how they bring together all of these different teams. I love to see how they do this. As you got a Vision team, you've got Army Cycling now in here, you've got KRT, Vicky Nealon with Heino, the Turbo Ladies with Leah Thorvaldsen. Is Charlotte Backus in here? Charlotte Backus is in here.
Yep, there she is. She looks great. I'm so impressed, Nathan. What a rock star that kid is. Taking a look. Look at her now, motivating too. So she's racing at altitude, always remembering that that does play a role. This squad has been en fuego over the course of, Nathan, you make a great point. They race on a lot of different trade teams, but somehow something bonds these ladies together. It's a band of sisters.
Absolutely. And Claire Good here coming in also from, I believe, Tier Fearless as
don't give her enough shout-outs. Claire deserves more love.
Good to see the all move these over ladies from Team Fearless. Well, not a move over. That's the point I'm trying to make here. Is it's just this awesome team that's put together by.
It's like an all.
I want to know who the team leaders. I gotta get an interview with them. They were knocking on the door for an interview, and it needs to happen because I want to figure out whose idea was this for this super team and who helped put it all together.
I honestly think a big part of it is just the stoke level that Charlotte Backus seems to have. She's young, but she just seems like she's a natural-born organizer. So, do you follow her on any of the social media platforms? I don't know if you do or not, Nathan, but she's really active. Her stuff is great. It's all just high quality content that's engaging and entertaining and keeping things on the up and up. And I have a strong feeling, I mean, she's only like 20 years old, goes to Fort Lewis College, but I even think that she might be one of the cornerstones. But you're going to find out. Let's do that interview.
Yeah, we should find out. I have a feeling it has. I have a feeling it's Leah Thorvaldsen, Elliott. I think some of more of the mentorship coming on through in the old school Zwift racers that have been around for a while. That maybe, and maybe also just the fact that they race against each other a lot, and they were like, "Hey, let's go do this," because they all. I mean, when we're not in the team time trial, it's. The gloves are off between these riders, so they're kicking each other's butts week in and week out. That's for sure.
You know, really, at one point, it was these ladies versus the Choppers, right? And you can see that both of the teams have a mix of nationalities. There's Lizzie Duncombe coming through. I mean, she wins world level ITU triathlon events. So, you know, so they have Lucy Charles on the Choppers. What was that there? I think, do we have a rider just have a dropout?
Maybe for just a second, or maybe just going to 0 watts per kilogram for a second to
maybe.
give a little bit of a rest, though, for just a moment.
So, but yeah, both of these teams are stacked with talent. It is, there you go, right back. Two all-star squads. And not all of them are triathletes, but there's a heavy, well, actually, you know what? It's that really cool cross-pollination, isn't it? About half of these riders are elite-level triathletes, and the other half are elite-level road riders. Some of them even have Paralympic decorations and aspirations. So it really is just this incredibly cool spectrum of athletes on these teams.
Looking through this is going to be for the win out here today. It's the Plastic Cockneys chasing down World Rowing. At the last checkpoint, World Rowing have finished up the race. We're waiting for the results to update. But at the last checkpoint, that 26-kilometer mark in the Espressos for the men here, 32:19. Plastic Cockneys coming in at 32:25. It was a 6-second difference. Driving the pace now at the front now, as you can see. Ian Hope now trying to make things happen. 6.7 watts per kilogram. They're going to have to hold this 6+ to the line with a man on the front every single second that they possibly can if they're going to take down that time, because World Rowing threw down an amazing time through 26. We're going to have to wait for the results and see what they're up against here. 45:50 this morning from PTZ. I think they're going to be able to beat that 3 minutes to the line. They've got about a K to go. So, yep, I think they're going to be within that 45:50, maybe even under 44 minutes or 45 minutes.
Yeah,
so we'll have to wait and see.
The Premier League being the Premier League. It looks like I think we will see a bunch of new records being set out of this wave. Again, as we race around the globe, these guys now got the throttle all the way open, Nathan. They can smell the barn as the horses are galloping here.
Yeah, it looks like Perry now
no
pushing 7 watts per kilogram for a moment now. It's going to be Howells now making his way to the front every ounce that they can at this point. This is where the seconds really matter, and you can really ramp up some time. You know, with these last couple of meters out here out on course, if you push the pace as high as you can,
time
get
up
that
a
sprint.
fourth rider.
Exactly. So now there was also Team ODZ though. Team ODZ, I'm not sure where they started on the day. They have finished, it looks like. Team ODZ have finished. You can see the 0 there for the kilometers. So they've finished as well. So we're waiting for some times to come in from the results still.
Okay, because they're going to be, obviously in a conversation. They were only 8 seconds out as they came through, 2 seconds out of second for ODZ. So, good, Nathan. It's time to take that deep breath because we're in the next couple of minutes here going to be filling in your leaderboards here and finding out who our podium is going to be. This is a team that's obviously in contention. They're in contention for the outright win here as we watch the Plastic Cockneys bring it home. Come on, boys.
This could be a course record as well. Obviously, I think the top 3 are all, maybe even more, maybe the top 4 are going to break the course record that has been. Let's check out what's going on with the La Bamba, though. La Bamba, 44:59. 44:59 was La Bamba for the course record. That's not the time on the day for winning on the day, but the course record on here for World Tactical. I mean, you're setting essentially world records. I mean, that's the reality of it. And so coming into the sprint right now, can they set it on the TikTok here? here. They've got to break. They're going to do it. They're going to break 44. But will they take the win out here today? It's going to matter what World Rowing did. A little bit of a dropout for a second. He went to 0 watts per kilogram. Maybe he was holding up for his teammates. They got to be the first 4 across the line, sprinting 10 watts per kilogram now, 180 beats per minute now. Perrin leading things out. Now to the front, it's going to be Ward trying to come through, and it looks like 1 in 85. Absolute
6
suffering.
Watts, 7 watts per kilo. Oh, this is it. They're almost there now. Ay, ay, ay. Done
So it
and
looks
dusted.
like 44.38 is what I saw. 44.38 for
Okay.
the plastic Cockneys across the line.
I'm going to write that down because that's going to be a pivotal time. 44.38 for the plastic Cockneys. Unlike the aluminum Cockneys. Aluminium.
Oh, and I think they did it. I'm getting some times coming in here, and we have had an update to some of the back end out here today, some of the back end data, and it will not be jumping around on us because Martin is amazing coming from WTRL.
He is
and
the man.
It looks like I'm going to wait for it to officially load up here. Currently at the top, I've got World Rowing at a 44.45. Okay, 44.45.
Meaning the Cockneys would have done it if
I don't
that's
know.
true.
I'm
Wow.
waiting for it.
Holy
It looks,
moly.
I'm waiting on an update.
That's just
here.
that's insane though.
Waiting on
okay.
an update
Well,
from what I just saw, but I'm going to check in with Martin because some things just came through and are really interesting to see here. But now we've got the finish here for it. It looks like Vienna.
the question-
34-57. Team Sisu, though, up against the Choppers. It looks like Sisu. What a ride from Sisu this week.
Yeah, Nathan, their real thing here, it's not about catching socks for Watts. It's about holding off the Choppers out here. As that's going to be really, really fun to watch how this goes. Sisu's having an outstanding ride. Nathan, they're another team that the trajectory's just been going straight up through the roof. So Team Sisu there, no shame at all. Socks for Watts has been in fuego, as we've said. No one's hotter than that squad. They're white hot out there. Sisu, the Choppers. But we felt like the Choppers had a lot of momentum the last time we checked in with the Viennas, our women's category. This, though, is so Assel part of the Socks for Watts team.
Yeah, and we are going to jump around a little bit here in just a second. Watch Socks for Watts as they come on in, but it is going to be 2020 chasing them down as well. During here, Leah Davison is out here right now. Awesome to see the mountain biker, Paulus. I mean, only showing up with 4 riders. This is a solid effort with 4 riders up against some teams that have 8+.
Yeah, they didn't have any wiggle room. Jasmine During is a 2-time Olympic bronze medal winner from Canada. So, respecting that she's an extremely good time trialist, I would have to think that she'd be one of the captains here. This looks like a team pursuit squad rolling right now. Again, this team has Leah Davison, the rider out of Vermont, who's represented the United States at the Olympics. Shayna Paulus out of Roseville, California. I saw that she's going to be heading back home to California to do some training with her brother, who was just named to the Olympic long team as well. So this team 2020 has got the Olympic DNA. Absolutely, that signature as you look at Thorvaldsen right there. Always one of America, the world's favorite teams. Time off of the 4th wheel.
And this looked like
But
dropping
this was
Davison
not
off
ever
just
going to
a
be.
little
There they
bit
go.
for just a
Right
second,
back.
4.7 watts per kilogram on those felts here with the looks like they're starting to get the upgrades going on here. Good to see a lot of them opening up some of the in-game kits. That's pretty sweet, actually. They've got their full-on in real life kit, it looks like, here going on in the with the felts, with the zip wheels. I absolutely love how they're dialed. Oh, so dialed.
Well, yeah, I mean, in real life, they're as pro as pro can be. And, of course, that when they make that jump into racing on Zwift, one of the teams that really cracks the code on how, that's one of the things that's happened with the whole COVID-19 thing is teams are like, hey, we want to be on Zwift. Give us our jersey. We want our bikes and all of that. And you have to realize there's a relationship. And Nikki is so good at managing those in-sport relationships. So that's why you see them as one of the first teams with the new kit. And it's because Nikki's part of the success success of the whole thing. And she uses her team for good and helps promote Zwift. And
Real quick
it makes
shout
a
out.
huge difference. Yep. Here's our Fleetwood
Real
Mac
quick shout.
boys.
Just want to give a shout out to the Frappe. I know that we've been jumping around a lot, and Frappe finishing up here with the Fleetwood. BRT chasing them down as well. 2020 are just finishing up their race though too. So we're gonna try and stick with them as best. Oh, and it looks like they've just come across the line as well. So we are going to start losing a lot of our feeds, everybody. We'll jump around a whole bunch, actually, as everyone's just crossing their finish lines. We're in Vicky Nealon now, as you can see, as she just came across the line to set that top time for, most likely the top time. We're still waiting for some things to update here from the results board, and as we get them in, we'll let everybody know. But Sox Watts were in the top spot, coming through at 26K. Still, it looks like interesting to see. And it did, yes, Sox Watts did just finish. Yep, they did. Yep. Sox Watts did just come across the line. That's why we're jumping all over the place.
It gets really tricky here, folks. Yeah.
Specifically in the WTRL with the way that we need to cover three different pens. After everybody crosses the finish line, it starts jumping around quite a bit for us. So
I wonder if we could jump in. We maybe take a look at some of the times should be finishing for the espressos. I want
to make sure we've got a lot of things changing in the background here. A whole lot. So I want to have full faith in what I show. So we're going to just give a second here and make sure I've got the message from Martin to say that everything
This was our original WTRL joke. Do you want the results now or do you want them correct? That applies again. So it makes a lot of sense. Obviously there is an insane amount of data. You're starting all of these riders in the different pens, all of the different waves going on. So allowing them to do what they do with a little bit of breathing room is always good. And Nathan, you know when they're ready. So again, another great day. 61st week consecutively that we've raced the WTRL. Numbers just continue to amaze me. What also is cool to watch, Nathan, it seems like everyone gets better at this. Working hard with, you really have to participate. It's not just sort of showing up and riding. You have to be communicating back and forth and getting your team registered and organized. It's no mean feat. It's a good job.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It sounds like we got a couple of minutes here, guys, still before we have results, but they will be up in just a second. Good to see all the chat coming through. Tom O'Kaland, one of the longest time Zwifters, hanging out in the Facebook chat. Good to see you, Tom. Says, thank God they wear socks. No DQ then. I like that. Let's go, Cryogen Swans coming through from Debbie Woods Turner. We'll get the results in for the Cryogen Swans in just a second. Dave's waterfall is stopped. Yeah, we decided to freeze. It's just a deep freeze. Or as we wait for the results, the waterfall is also frozen for just a moment behind Dave. We had to let the...
It'll be okay.
It'll be okay. Good job, guys. Thanks a lot, Brian. Appreciate you as well. We'll see a couple more here coming on through. We do see Brian Silverton letting us know World Rowing coming on through with a pretty amazing time. I'm not going to let those out here. Appreciate all you guys, though, coming in with them, with the chatter for sure. So next week, let's go ahead. Actually, that's one thing that we can do right now while we wait for the results is we can let everybody know what is happening next week as we wait for the results to populate here. Next week, we have the number 62, and number 62 is going to be on, what do we got for number 62? We're on the Magnificent 8. Magnificent 8. Magnificent 8 is going to be super interesting here. So Magnificent 8 is Magnificent 8 is all these 8 courses are essentially, you do the same thing, but just backwards, forwards and backwards of the entire course. So Magnificent 8 route was rolled out in Zwift on October 29th update. And it was a part of the Halloween dinosaur costume scavenger hunt, actually. So route begins downtown Watopia, riding through start-finish banner in the reverse direction. You ride the volcano, across the land bridge, past the noisy waterfall, and over the reverse hilly KOM. Only significant climb, but still, for a time trial though, next week with that hilly KOM reverse in there, we saw that completely break things apart when we were out on the Watopia reverse a couple weeks back. So that's gonna be a difficult one. Then they on the Ocean Boulevard, then the Fuego Flats for a spin through the desert. Brings you all the way around the right-hand turn, Ocean Boulevard, Epic KOM Spur. Not going up the Epic KOM, we go onto the Ocean Boulevard. Make your way back down to Watopia for the finish. So a little bit of climbing out there next week. That'll be the main contention point, I think, next week, is going to be that reverse Watopia climb as to whether or not the riders are able to hold on.
If you're doing a team time trial, you don't want to hear anything about any kind of king of the mountain. That's for sure.
Well, that's what we saw Sox and Watts make up a lot of time on 2020 last week, I think, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, so as we're getting the results ready again, always fun out here, and it'll be interesting. We've got a huge weekend of racing coming up to preview the Joe Martin race. So we're virtually all traveling to Fayetteville tomorrow. It'll be a time trial start for all of the teams, and then a couple more days of racing. So 3 total stages.
Yeah, we're out on Bologna. We are out on the Bologna course tomorrow for the Joe Martin, so that'll be good, and definitely going to be some fast racing out there tomorrow. And it's going to be mass start. We found out just recently will be mass start with TT bikes, similar to what we saw in 3R just a couple weeks back. So now it is going to be
a really fun format. So here we go. Looks like you got some of our first results. No surprise, Nathan.
Yeah, Sox for Watts with that 48-23. Team Sisu, now that is a team that they have shown up and been really dominant as of recently. New kids on the block, that's for sure. Nice job to them. Choppers there coming on through. They brought back some time. Choppers were like down in 6th or 7th place, so nice job for them. We said that they might be bringing it on later.
Yeah, to be fair to Sisu, though, they didn't close down on Sisu. They actually, that last split, they added time. So that's an outstanding Sisu ride. The Choppers have had their day on top of the podium, and they'll have it again, 2020 finishing in 4th. The Swans found the top 5, Nathan, so they lived up to pre-race hype, having a great ride with Onyx in 6th, Z-Sun R Hypernova 7th, the Celtic Queens, the Irish Monsters in 8th, Flying Tortoises in 9th, and it's going to be Live by Cycling Free ending up there in 10th.
Now, real quick shout out here on that 9th place from Flying Tortoises. That is a Zone 2 time, and it's 52:49. That is maybe within striking distance to hold for a top 10. That Live by Cycling Free, I think, might not stand. Look at the 5-minute difference there from Zone 1. And some of the zones later on the day will most likely beat out the 57:28. But that Flying Tortoises, they may be able to jump into the Premier League next week from Zone 2, actually. So as you can see, just so everybody knows, as we look through the results, make sure you check out the zone. If you're wondering where did that team come from, well, that might have been a team from another time throughout the day. So let's go ahead and move on over toward, as you can see, times are coming in. See, as we see here, Zone 3 just beat out that time that we saw that was top 10 with that 55:45. So people are still looking to get into Premier League for next week. Nice job to Dirty Rascals Rise. Now, within the Espresso, though, I'm not sure. Zone 1, PTZ, they unseat one of the teams, it looks like, with a 45:50. What a time there, it looks like, with that 8th, but it's going to be World Rowing ICC 44:45. Plastic Cocktails unable to hang on there, end up with a 44:50.
Only 5 seconds. Very close. That's really quite a race because it's only you go another 4 seconds back to ODZ, Nathan. So our top 3 teams after 36 kilometers within 9 seconds of each other. That's some bike racing today. And look, 4th is only 2 seconds off the podium for the Vultures. Holy cow.
Amazing racing there, Cryogen Vultures. Their big shout out to Cryogen Vultures. Cryogen with 3 different teams across the 3 categories that we covered today. So shout out to them as well for showing up in force Rat Pack 4511 looks like Army Cycling. Good to see Army Cycling. That's James Bevan's team as well as a couple of others that we were shouting out there today. Looks like Army Cycling really showing up in the esports scene a lot lately too. Race 3R, Venture Boys, they had a lot of teams out there as well with the Fleetwood Mac. We'll see what their result is later. But good, shout out to PTZ. They picked up a lot of great checkmarked riders out there in real life, top riders, tying it up with Dig Deep coaching on the second. But it was most likely, it looks like it came down to a tenth of a second maybe, Dave.
That's incredible. That really is. And it shows you the battle, the bubble there for staying in the Premier League, because these are the top squads on planet Earth today doing this discipline of esports team time trialing. Ram Raiders rounding out our top coaching as they finish right behind the DDC boys. So, yeah. Nathan, there's your espressos. I got to say, World Rowing has arrived. They are in full effect with the they're now a Premier League super squad. Congratulations,
I'd have
guys.
to say, especially after last week, what we saw come from the Plastic Cockneys, I think that there's a reality that this is no happenstance. This isn't just a 1 week one-off
this
here.
Is the changing of the guard.
It's just a serious result there for sure. Shout out Ram Riders. Hopefully
they
can hang on. Not sure that that's going to stand, though, for the rest of the day at that a little, 40 seconds, maybe. We'll have to see if the Ram Riders can hold on to that top 10 spot, though, throughout the rest of the day. As the day develops, people will be watching WTRL. Make sure to be checking out their website to watch throughout the day how the zones progress, who might be getting into the Premier League as we continue to see new teams make the top 10 as you look at that 9th place. But it's going to be Fleetwood Mac, your favorite team. They actually were in a battle head-to-head with Alien Express, Dave, but it looks like it made it happen. We'll let you go through the results there.
Well, congratulations, Race 3R. Thank you, Nathan. Race 3R Fleetwood Mac taking a huge win. Congratulations, guys. Chapeau. Alien Express to INC Alien Express team. That was a battle, that's for sure. They end up with the silver medal. Evo Vortex won, finishing with the bronze. Then we'll take a look at the chocolate medal for 4th place, going to Cryogen. Then it's the Jalapenos. So IRL Jalapenos rounding out the top 5. That team gets better and better as they move up the leaderboard here with a bullet. In 6th, it's going to be Team TFC Harrier. 7th, going to Race 3R Steps. 8th was Race 3R Bucks Fizz. Then you got the Dirty Steamers. They're in 9th. And then rounding out our top 10 here in the Frappe group, the BRT Draft Beers. Great racing out there. And you can see 47-16 the winning time. Almost all. A couple one Zone 1 team, the Dirty Steamers, getting in here. Mostly Premier League teams today.
Yeah, shout out. There's this is pretty close racing in Frappe. Very impressive, actually, how close it is even in Frappe. So very cool to see. I do see your shout outs. Let's get to see the Mocha. We'll get there as we do have Kirchner E-Cycling, though, Premier League 50-21 in the Lattes. This is a close race. 2 seconds between the Chasers and Kirchner. Wow. No, another 20 seconds back, though. Kirchner E-Cycling 2. Eat Dirt 2. Right there with the 50-53 ODZ, 1 second off there for 4th and 5th place. And it looks like a Zone 1 for Eat Dirt 2 getting into the Premier League this next week. So good to see with that 1 second difference there. Then it's TT1 Lancet. And then Team TFC Spitfire coming on through Cryogen. Magpies, shout out to the Magpies there. And then DBR3. Look like Evo Peaky Blinders, nice job in Zone 3, jumping into a top 10 on the day so far. Solid results there. Let's go on over to the Mochas. Dave, take it away.
Hey, thanks, Nathan. Team TFC Hurricane in full effect with a 55-18 taking the win in the Mochas. Then you got the herd of Thundering Rhinos. They finished just 2 seconds back there. Another, Nathan, every category had some epic battles going on. So nice job, Rhinos. Then you've got the N-Try 3 team rounding out our podium. So that's your top 3. Let's move down through our top 10 with Eat Dirt Trois in 4th, Newberry Velo Falcons in 5th, Los Ketchup in 6th, Race Hub White in 7th, Pop-Tarts in 8th, the GC Scrambled Legs in 9th, and then Cryogen Ravens, part of the Cryogen family, taking the top 10 there. So that's our Mochas at the 61st edition of the WTRL Team Time Trial.
Before we take another look at what we're doing next week, let's just take a quick look. This is what happened today with the course records, and it looks like everything was broken. Sox Watts, World Rowing, Viking Fenrir, Kirchner Recycling, and Team TFC Hurricanes all set new records on TikTok for the World Tactical Racing League Team Time Trial. Just goes to show the level continues to go up. For next week, everybody make sure to tune in as we've got number 62, Magnificent 8, little bit of climbing on the reverse climb, using pretty much everything around the new Fuego Flats, as well as a lot of the old school Watopia is what you're looking at for the Magnificent 8. So make sure to tune in for that. Sign up. Head on over to the World Tactical Racing League's website. You can sign up for next week. There's no barring to entry. You just go ahead and sign up. Give them your info and say, here's my team. And 9 zones throughout the day. It isn't just at this time zone, so you can compete throughout the day and even get into the Premier League with those top 10s. So, Dave, it's been a lot of fun. We're on tomorrow. Joe Martin stage race. 3 days of racing, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Make sure to go ahead and hit those follow buttons and figure out where that's at. That's all listed over on our YouTube as well as on our Facebook page as well. Dave, we'll see you tomorrow. Great job. Great job to all the riders out there. Lots of fun.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everybody. As always, ride on.